Welcome into Steelers Latest, your daily spot for all news and information related to your Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content to stay up to date with everything Steelers. But let's get rolling as today we got a little bit of relationship building here as Rodgers and DK Metcalf already seem to have a solid chemistry dynamic forming in Pittsburgh. Uh, Rodgers stated on the Pat McAfee show Tuesday that DK was the main reason he signed in Pittsburgh as long. Also, being with Mike Tomlin in his final year was also a deciding factor. But DK being here was a key factor in him deciding to come to Pittsburgh. We've seen they've worked out at UCLA. He's thrown a lot of praise DK's way, saying he's going to be a leader on this offense. And I mean, we'll take it. We need leadership on the offensive side of the ball. It seems like the offensive side has lacked the leadership quality for the past 5 years now, it feels like. So having someone like DK Metcalf being a leader, someone like Aaron Rodgers to hopefully be a leader in the locker room is great news for this offense. Also, once again, they worked out at UCLA together. They already are kind of trying to figure each other out on the field. When DK does this, where Rodgers throwing the ball, they're trying to figure all that stuff out. I think by the start of the season, they're going to have that stuff kind of pinned down. And let me just make a comparison real quick here to Devontae Adams. I think this connection with DK certainly being the number one guy. We don't really have a number two. Doesn't seem like we're going to go after a number two, like a solidified number two wide receiver. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But DK is definitely the number one guy. He's going to get a lot of targets this year from Aaron Rodgers, especially as you can tell, Aaron Rodgers has already taken a great liking to DK Metcalf. But comparison to Devontae Adams' time, through 6 years, Devontae Adams' best yards season was 1,386, and 13 TDs was his best touchdown season. Through DK's first 6 years in the league, 1,303 yards and 12 touchdowns are his career highs in yards and touchdowns. Relatively similar numbers, right? This could be that big leap year like Devontae Adams took in year 7. Now that DK does have that future Hall of Fame quarterback, although he is, of course, the ripe old age of 41 years old, so not as talented as he was in Devontae Adams' 7th season, but the connection seems to be there already. If Rodgers can be 70%, you never know. DK could do something like Devontae Adams did in that 7th season where he led the league in touchdowns with 18 and yards per game with 98.1. And this was all while only playing 14 games that season, so he had 18 touchdowns in 14 games that year. Pretty crazy. If DK can just get like 12 to 14 touchdowns this year, that would be remarkable production for a wide receiver on the Steelers in the past 5 seasons. It would definitely be the best in the past 5 seasons, probably since Antonio Brown. It would be the best statistical season. If he could get over that 1,300-yard mark again, that would be great. If he can just set career highs, is basically all I'm asking. But that's not a guarantee. I'm just saying this could be a jump year for DK once again. This could be where he really does enter the prime. This is his prime season. This and next year could be where we see prime DK Metcalf, the freak of nature, really going crazy on the football field. But talking about receivers, I gotta mention something that is very disappointing to me. But over the past couple months, we saw a lot of rumors and speculation around what receivers might be coming to Pittsburgh, who the Steelers might be interested in. And they have really died down as of recent, as not seeing a whole lot of speculation in the articles I'm reading anymore on the receiver side of the ball or just the offensive side of the ball in general. A couple of the names that were talked about in the past were Gabe Davis and Terry McLaurin. Gabe Davis visited. Terry McLaurin's having those contract disputes, but those rumors have all simmered out. And it's just very disappointing to me because, once again, I'm not too committed to Calvin Austin being the number two out wide guy. That just I just don't see it going all too well for him outside. I really like him in the slot. I just don't like him outside. Maybe Roman Wilson is doing something in mini camps and OTAs that I just haven't seen. So maybe I'm just not in the building and the talent really is there, but I just question it sometimes if we are committed to going all in, which it once again we've made moves as a team that's looking to win a Super Bowl. You gotta fully commit, and adding a solidified number two receiver is definitely a big need for the Steelers right now. And there's a lot of options in like free agency. You still got Amari Cooper out there, and then Gabe Davis. He visited. I'm just not understanding why the Steelers are very hesitant on making a move receiver wise. But to the other side of the ball, on the defensive side, trade rumors are ramping up in the secondary as now I've talked about Jalen Ramsey a lot this week and how I'd really love having Jalen Ramsey and how great he is. But I know we're all over me talking about Ramsey. Another name has surfaced, Mike Hilton. He's one of the people I mentioned like a month ago. I'd be really cool with signing Mike Hilton once again. He brings something different to the secondary. Great blitzer. Now in Cincinnati, they didn't really know how to use him too well in those blitzing scenarios. But in Pittsburgh, if you look at his numbers sacks wise in Pittsburgh compared to Cincinnati, it's two different players. Once again, I think we would bring that side of him out again and Mike Tomlin gets the best out of all his players. He knows where to put them and how to use them the best. And he will figure that out once again with Mike Hilton, and he'll be able to get that his sack numbers up once again using the blitz game. Him blitzing off the edge was always really exciting for me as a defensive fan. Watching Hilton come off the edge kind of reminded me as an off-brand Troy Polamalu when Polamalu would do that. So that's why I really enjoy it. But Mike Hilton, and he's solid in the tackle game. Like he's solid just in the run game, solid tackler. If the receiver does catch the ball, he's going to bring him down. Mike Hilton is pretty solid nickel cornerback. Now, out wide, you don't want to use him in big coverage situations. Bring in Brandon Eccles for those situations. But Hilton would bring something unique to the offense. Let's wrap this show up with something on the happier side, though, as George Pickens starts off this story kind of sad as George Pickens canceled on last week on a youth football camp in Pittsburgh, and it looked all dark and gloomy. There was going to be no pro player there for the kids. But then Pat Fryermuth volunteered his time and came in and saved the day and was able to be there for the kids and the youth football camp. Just a nice story to end this episode of Steelers Latest. This has been it from Steelers Latest. I've been your host, Cole Denis, and I will see you tomorrow.